What's up, everybody? I am Pastor Chris, and this is your CL moment. Today, I want to talk to you about your faith level. Where is your faith level? There's different levels of faith, right? Like there's your basic faith that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to breathe some air. There's faith that you're going to get in your car. It's going to start. You're going to get from point A to point B safely. There's roller coaster faith. You're putting your faith in another mechanical thing that's going to take you on a fun ride and get you back safely without you falling out or something horrible happening to you. There's skydiving faith. You're putting all of your faith, if you're doing tandem, in an individual behind you that's strapped to you, that when they pull that chute, that they've folded everything the right way and everything's going to open up and safely get you back to the earth. There's faith in finances. There's putting your faith that God, when He says that He's going to supply all your needs, that He is going to supply all of your needs. There's raising the dead faith. You know, there's so many just different levels of faith. And the Bible talks about in Romans 1:17, from faith to faith, right? That once we've gone through one thing, that gives us faith to move on to the next thing that we may be dealing with in our life. But real quick, I want to talk about something, right? So it doesn't matter necessarily where you're at right now in your faith, because I'm talking to myself today. Let's look at the disciples who walked and talked with Jesus, right? Let's look at, so in Matthew 8:26, before I read it, basically, to sum it all up for you, they're in a big storm. They're out on a boat. They're in a big storm. The disciples are freaking out. Jesus is sleeping down there, which is incredible just in itself. But anyways, so the disciples come and they're freaking out. And they're like, Jesus, wake up. We're all going to die. What are you doing down here? And Jesus looks at them. Let's look at it. Matthew 8:26. And it says, I'm reading out of the Passion Translation. It says, but Jesus reprimanded them. Why are you gripped with fear? Where is your faith? Then he stood up and rebuked the storm and said, be still, and instantly it became perfectly calm. See, Jesus' faith was at that level of, when I say this, I expect this to happen. The disciples who've walked and seen miracle after miracle, like they still had a freak out moment. Why? Because they're human like you and I. But the important thing is that in those moments, in those storms that we find ourselves, that we listen to that small voice inside of us. We listen to that Jesus, that Holy Spirit that says, hey, speak to this moment. Have faith at what I've said. Have faith in me, and you will see your way through this storm. So faith is usually dealt with or associated with fear, right? Like whenever you're going through something bad, you're sick, you're low on finances, during this COVID time and all that stuff, it's dealt with fear. And so what do we say? Well, have faith, right? So listen, guys, just as the disciples who walked and talked with Jesus, they freaked out, right? They had a moment of faithlessness, right? But Jesus was there to remind them that, hey, have faith because I'm there with you in that storm. So no matter what's going on in your life right now, whether it's finances or you're concerned about going outside. Now, obviously use wisdom and do what they're saying with wearing masks or washing your hands and stuff like that, but have faith that what God says in His Word is true, that He will protect you from sickness and disease, that He will take care of you during these times, financially and everything else. So during this week, guys, examine yourself and say, like, what faith level am I at? And how can I get to that next faith level? Because everyone's walking through some storm of some type of form of a storm. And so you need to have faith to get out of that storm. So that way, when you face your next storm, you can look back and say, hey, Jesus got me through this storm, so I know that He'll get me through this storm. Well, I'm Pastor Chris. That's all I got for you today. This has been your CL moment, and we'll see you next time.